Hello and welcome to this latest video review of the Ioniq, Hyundai's Eco 5-door that's available as a petrol electric hybrid, plug-in hybrid or full electric car. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the motors.co.uk channel, drop us a like if you enjoy the video and click that bell so that you're notified each and every time we upload a new video. With greater emphasis now being put on alternative fuel cars, Hyundai has designed a vehicle that's a bit of a jack of all trades. It's available as a petrol electric hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, or it can be driven in full electric mode too, meaning you get all the benefits of zero or ultra low emissions driving without any of the drawbacks. But when competing with some established alternatives like the Toyota Prius, how does the Ioniq stack up? That's what we're here to find out. On the outside, the Ioniq looks like a normal 5-door hatchback, which is definitely a positive. No one wants a car that limits practicality to simply shout about their eco credentials. It really does look like the love child of the Nissan Leaf and Toyota Prius. In terms of its styling, the only real difference between the three versions, badging aside, is the blanked off grille up front that you get on the electric model, as hybrid models get a traditional vented version. And don't think it's just been designed with styling in mind, it has the same drag coefficient as a Toyota Prius. Inside there's very little to tell it apart from what you'd call a normal car. All the buttons and controls are logically placed and relatively straightforward to use. The cabin materials are also decent quality too. Entry-level models come with an 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system which grows to 10.25 inches on higher spec models. As you'd expect, it controls everything from your satellite navigation to DAB radio and in-car setup. It also shows important information about the car such as range and energy usage. As well as this, it comes with some clever services called BlueLink, which shows useful information like the nearest available charging points and how busy close by car parks are. All useful and clever stuff. What's great about the Ioniq is that practicality hasn't been sacrificed in the interest of better aerodynamics, so that means good head and legroom up front and decent space in the back, although taller passengers may struggle with headspace. It is an area though where rivals such as the Volkswagen Golf score better. The boot is a good size and shape and bigger than the Prius, but take note that if you go for the electric model then boot space is slightly more limited because of that bigger rear mounted battery. And now for the technical bit. As we mentioned, the Ioniq is available in three forms: petrol electric hybrid, plug-in hybrid and electric. Now to all intents and purposes, there's very little difference between the powertrains in the hybrid versions, as both get a 4-cylinder 1.6 litre Atkinson style petrol engine combined with an electric motor. The plug-in version has a bigger battery, which means it'll hold more charge and it can be charged from the mains rather than the standard hybrid, which is charged through regenerative braking and the engine's power. The plug-in though has a bigger electric range, which ultimately brings down emissions and running costs too. The Ioniq you choose will largely depend on what you're going to be using it for. The electric model is the most expensive, even if you take the government grant into consideration, but it will return a healthy 194 miles on a full charge, and it will take around an hour to charge from flat to 80% using a 50 kilowatt charger, or 6 hours using a home 7 kilowatt charger, or 19 hours if you use a 3-pin plug socket. This should suit anyone looking for a car to commute to or from work with occasional longer journeys thrown in. Opt for the plug-in hybrid and it should return a claimed 39 miles on electric charge, which is a little optimistic in real world conditions, but it will only take around 2.5 hours to charge using a home wall box. What's impressive though is the claimed combined official fuel economy of 252 miles per gallon. And while this is probably based on perfect driving conditions, the most popular choice for many though will be the regular hybrid, which emits just 79 grams per kilometres of CO2 and has a very respectable economy of 83 miles per gallon. Now again, these figures are a little ambitious in real world conditions, but they shouldn't be too far off that of the Toyota Prius. Hyundai's first stab at an eco car is a fine one, with the Ioniq being designed to take on both the Toyota Prius and Nissan Leaf, and it does a pretty impressive job, especially when you consider the head start that those brands had. It's not quite as well rounded though, the ride is a little less comfortable and the whole integration isn't as strong either. But if you're on a budget, then the Ioniq is well worth considering. If you want to see reviews on some other electric or hybrid cars, then follow the links coming up next.